Hi everyone. So today I'm going to walk you through a real client project step by step where we enrich their CRM data with 20,000 contacts and 10,000 companies and turned it into a fully enriched GTM engine in HubSpot. Right. So if your sales team is currently working from a CRM with thousands of contacts, but they still cannot answer like who do I call out today or who do I reach out today, this video is for you. Right. I'm going to show you the actual workflows that I have built, the data points that we have enriched, and how we have structured everything into HubSpot. Right. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly how you can build this entire system for your own business or for a client. Right. So let's get into it now. To give you a context about the project, so the project goal is to define all their prospective, you could say, US customers, right, clean their current XCRM company records and contact records, and then migrate enriched data into HubSpot. Right. So we did an analysis of their XCRM data, and here is what we have found. Right? So their email coverage is only 19%. Their phone coverage is close to 31%. There are a lot of duplicates in the contact level data and the company level data as well. Right? They have only 12% or TAM visibility. Right? And they don't have like right kind of decision makers in their contact level data. Right? So these are the problems or errors we have found out. Right? and and this isn't unique to this client. I have seen this exact problem or pattern with almost every B2B company that I have worked with. Right, the CRM has been around for years, and people and their team have been dumping data into their CRM, but nobody has created a system to keep it clean and make it useful. Right. Now let's see the four core problems they have in their CRM. Problem one: fragmented CRM data. Right. So their CRM was full of duplicates and outdated records, and with the contacts with no clear company linkage. So that was the problem one. Problem two was no time visibility. So the current CRM only covers the you could say fraction of their US manufacturers they could sell to. Right. So that is the problem to, no time visibility. Then problem three is unknown decision makers. Right. So their sales reps had no idea who actually controls the product purchases at each facility. Right. Either the headquarter or the plant manager or the procurement team. Right. And the fourth process is manual research bottleneck, which is like their reps were spending hours finding the emails, phone numbers, and the plant details. Right. So this is the before step. Right. Now here is how we have fixed it. So this is the 4-phase solution. Right. So this entire project runs in 4 sequential processes, each one building on the last. Right. So we started by pulling everything out of their CRM. Then in the phase 2 we enrich and qualify it. Then we expand their TAM. Right. And then we input all the enriched data into HubSpot. Right. So let's discuss the phase 1, which is the data ingestion. So from here we input XML data directly into Clay. Right. So we pulled all their contact and company level data into a CSV format and imported it into Clay. Phase 2 is like cleaning and enriching company and qualifying the companies by different manufacturing process or enriching 20 plus data points. Right. Phase 3 is TAM expansion. So here we go beyond the existing CRM and map every, you could say, qualifying US manufacturing they could ever sell to. Right. So we have used Prospero and Clay here. And then the last step or the last phase is like CR input. So we take everything clean and enriched in Clay and then push into HubSpot with a proper relational structure: company, plant locations, contact, and deals. Right. So the key thing to understand here is that these phases are sequential. Right. You cannot jump to phase 3 without completing the phase 2. Right. Now let's quickly walk through each one in detail. So the phase 1 is a data ingestion. So phase 1 is the simplest. Right. It's also the most important foundation of the whole project. Right. So the goal here is to create one single, you could say, centralized starting point before any enrichment begins. Right. So here we pull all the data from CRM. Right. Contact and company level data. We ingest this data into a Clay table, which I call it unified master record. Right. And then we segment this data into three buckets, which is customers, active pipeline, and cold prospects, right? So this is where most people skip this uh, critical step. They dump all the data in and immediately start enriching, right? And that's expensive and inefficient, right? So here the first bucket is customer. These are the active revenue accounts, and this is the highest priority for retention, right? Then the second bucket is active pipeline, which is like in progress opportunities that need fast follow up. And the third bucket is cold prospect, companies that haven't been contacted yet or have gone cold, right? Now, why does this matter? Because enrichment cost money, right? Every API call or every clay enrichments that we run, every data lookup we do, it adds up, right? So if we enrich everything without segmenting first, then we are spending enrichment budget on the wrong records, right? So we have to segment first, prioritize which bucket do we need to enrich, and then we will be doing the enrichments, right? So that's the whole point of phase one. Now we move to the next phase, which is like clean, enrich, and qualify, right? So phase two is also one of the, you could say, complex and most important phase of the whole project, right? So this is where the real work happens, right? So there are 4 steps inside. So let me walk through each one in detail, right? Step one is like normalizing the company records, deduplicating them, and doing the domain validation, right? So before we touch a data point, we need to know if a companies in the CRM are even real or active businesses, right? So 3 things happen here, right? Normalizing the domain, for example, company names in CRM data are messy, right? If you take an example like Acme Plastics or Acme Plastics Inc. or Acme Plastic LLC, right? So these 3 companies are all the same company. So we normalize everything to a clean website domain, right? And then we deduplicate it. So using the normalized domain as a primary identifier, we cross-reference and merge duplicate records into one we could say company, one record, right? Then we run domain validation using AI. So this is step most people miss. So we have built an agent, an AI agent that actually visits each company's website and checks if it is a live or active business, because a lot of records in old CRMs are companies that have been shut down or have been acquired or changed their website. So there is no point entering those records, right? So only companies that pass the steps move forward, right? Now we move to the second step, which is qualify by manufacturing process. So now we have a clean list of active companies. The next question is like, are they actually a prospect, right? So for this client, the qualifying criteria was manufacturing processes, right? So they can only sell to companies that use one of these 3 processes, which is molding. In molding there is a injection molding, blow molding, and then casting, extrusion, and there are 2 or 3 more processes, right? So to determine this automatically at scale, we have built a clay agent, again an AI agent that visits the website, each company's website, scrapes relevant pages and validates whether the company uses any of these manufacturing processes, right? So it returns the actual manufacturing process it found, right? So instead of a sales rep manually visiting each website one by one to see if they are a fit, the AI does it automatically, right, for every single record, right? So if a company passes qualification, it moves to the step 3. So here we enrich 20 plus, we could say, operational data points, right? So this is where we add real intelligence to each qualified company. Now we break the enrichment again into 3 buckets, which is company basics, operations data, and the account intelligence. So company basics contains the basic information like company landing page, headquarter location, what is the location type, do they have a parent company, what is the website of a parent company, last CRM date, CRM disposition, right? Then comes the operations data, like what are the different manufacturing processes companies using, how many, you could say, plants do they have, what are the plant locations, number of machines, right? So these are the operational level data points. And then account intelligence, like what type of industries do they serve, like what is the parent subsidiary mapping, is buying authority at the headquarter level or is it at the plant level, right? So yeah, to be honest with you, like you cannot always find every single data point for every company, right? So some of this data is hard to get, right? But the goal is to find as many as possible using the most accurate data sources available, right? So the more we have and the smarter our outreach becomes, right? So that is the step 3, where is we enrich operational data points. Then we move to the step 4, which is decision maker identification, right? So this is the last step in our phase 2, and it is also one of the most important steps, right? So here we mapped 40 plus decision maker titles across 5 functional categories, right? So we have executives, we have plant operations, we have production, we have engineering, and then we have procurement, right? So in executive we have job titles like CEOs, president, general managers, VP of engineering. Then in plant operations we have plant managers, operation managers, manufacturing facilities manager, right? Then in production we have production engineers, supervisors, molding managers, extrusion specialist, right? Then in engineering we have process engineer or a manufacturing engineer, tooling engineer, maintenance manager, and the last will be procurement, where we have procurement manager, purchasing manager, right? So all these job titles are important for each of these titles at each company. So we capture their first name, last name, right? Job title, LinkedIn profile, right? And whether they live near the plant location, right? Because that last one tells you if this is actually a look if this is actually a local plant level contact or someone at a remote headquarter, right? So this is the end of the phase 2, right? Now the next phase is like TAM expansion, right? So here is where we go beyond the existing CRM, right? So if you look at this diagram, the small orange one circle in the middle, so that's the current actual, you could say CRM data. That's what the client had been working from, right? A fraction of the real market. The green circle is the qualified market, like all US manufacturers using the right processes, right? And the purple circle on the outside, that's the total addressable market, right? Every US manufacturer the company could sell to, right? Now the goal of the phase 3 is to map the entire green and purple circle from the scratch, right? So here is how we do it. So the first step is to define our ICP, right? What makes a company a real prospect, right? So for this client, the criteria was US headquartered, right? Manufacturing industry, specific manufacturing process type, and a minimum operational scale, right? So these were the qualification criteria. Then step 2, we build the company list from the different sources, right? So we use a combination of tools depending on the what data do we need, right? We have used Clay for enrichment and company discovery, scoring, right? Prospeo for the person search and contact sourcing, right? AI arc for industry specific data, and then custom scraping with Claude. So we wanted to scrape specific niche directories, right? Like ThomasNet and other manufacturing directories. So we have used Claude to scrape those directories, right? But the idea here is like the tool you use depends on the type of company you are looking for, right? So there is no single source that has everything, right? Now we come to the next step, which is step 3, again the data cleanup part, right? So any new list we build will have some issues, right? Duplicates, bad domains, or inactive websites, right? Inactive companies. So we run the same cleanup process as we have run in the phase 2, right? So we do deduplication of the company's my domain, right? We run an AI agent that validates the domain, right? We merge the companies into one, we could say one table, right? And then we qualify and enrich, right? Then comes the step 4, again contact sourcing using the buyer persona matrix, right? So again we source contact across all 5 you could say categories, functional categories for every new company, right? So we again have plant operations, production, engineering, and procurement, right? Now the result at the end of phase 3 is a database that represents the complete market opportunity, right? So this is the end of the phase 3. Now comes the phase 4 part, which is like CRM input, right? So phase 4 is the final step, taking everything clean, enriched and qualified from clay, and then pushing it to HubSpot with a proper relational structure, right? Now all enriched data flows from one clay master table, right? Deduplicated and fully enriched into three HubSpot objects, right? We have companies, contacts, deals, and pipeline, right? So in companies, we wanted like all the headquarter companies, also their parent company records, and it's with operational, you could say, contact data points or intelligence, right? Then we have decision makers mapped to a company and their plant location as well, right? And in the deals and pipeline, we have CRM dispositions carried over from their old CRM to CRM, so that no pipeline contact is lost in the migration, right? And then the critical step here is field mapping, right? So we have to match every click column to the correct HubSpot property, right? So you can see here exactly on the left side we have create object, you could say enrichment, right? So company domain to company domain, company name to company domain, description to description, right? Same thing on the right side, we have context like first name to first name, last name, right? In some cases we also need to create the additional properties in HubSpot so that we can import those properties from clay into HubSpot, right? So overall the relational structure we have built is like company to plant to contact, and the deal, right? So this means if one company has, let's say, 8 plants across 6 states, each plant is a separate record linked to their parent company, right, with its own set of intelligence or contacts and the deal pipeline, right? So this is the end of the final, you could say, phase 4. And then the key outcome, like, so what does the client actually walk away with at the end of all this, right? So the first is like precision TAM mapping, right? So they get a unified database of all US manufacturers, like deduplicated, qualified, and mapped at company and the plant level, right? So they know you could say, the full size of their market. Then comes qualified contacts, right? So here they get enriched contact list with the work email, mobile phone number, the LinkedIn profile, right? And the decision makers pre-identified across all 40 plus titles, right? So their sales team know exactly who to call before they even pick up the phone, right? And then third thing, we have behavior intelligence, like buyer persona mapped per company, like headquarters versus plant. What are the manufacturing processes they are using, number of machines they have, what is the machine size, and all those intelligence, right? And then the fourth is like scalable GTM foundation, right? So they get a clay and HubSpot system that updates as the market grows, right? So this isn't one time, you could say, export that decays the moment you run it, right? It's a living foundation for their ABM campaigns or lookalike modeling and the pipeline forecasting. So yeah, this is the entire GTM engine we have built for one of our clients. Hope you find this video useful. Thank you. Bye.